Through the smoke. Big cat, hearing your stories brings the beef back to the table. Instead, be careful what you hear about somebody. You might be hearing from the problem. All your people take things more personal, cause they would never have done that shizney. So when they can't believe they aren't coming back, they'll spin in the block, never lost wife. So they you went on and forgot to rest forever. You realize that some people are just eminence, memories and mistakes, and full of T-Rex arms with tricky talker ways. Big cat listens carefully with their third eye. Who wants to smoke? Who wants to smoke? Big C cat listens carefully with their third eye. Who wants to smoke? Who wants to smoke? Big C.
Namaste, Big Cat. Welcome back to Frequency Phoenix 555 for your message or massages. Come in, come on. I've got intel. Recon is afoot. Energies, up, Big Cat. I insist. May your comings and goings be forever covered by the grace of Father God, Mother Isis. When in doubt, go within. Bestie, oi, can we have a quick chat? But then again, who gon' check me boo? What do I want to talk about? I want to talk about the weakest link in your camp, darling dears. Excuse me, master replay, had to get some lubrication. Yeah, those weakest links in your camp, darling dears. The ones that are poking the holes in your boat, darling dears. They don't want your ship to be forever sailing on that sea of infinite possibilities, darling dears. These weakest links, darling dears, those frenemies, those fake family members, that co-worker that's helping you down to the bottomless pit, darling dears. Those neighbors straight from hell, looking like the hills have eyes. Baby, I ain't joking. You know what I'm saying, don't you, bestie? I need to call you bestie. I had to what? Cull a lot of people, darling dears. Cut them right off surgically, and I ain't going back. Not for all the teeth in China. If you try to make me, I'll put up a fight. I will. I'll fight with my limb destructors, darling dears. And my faithful what? Nay, because I ain't having it, blood. No going backwards, ever forwards. There are 10 things that I weighed up a list, darling dears. I weighed up the pros and cons. The first thing I looked at, the lack of accountability that they have, darling dears. They're often deflecting and blaming others and possibly even you for the mistakes. They're big mistakes, darling. They're detrimental mistakes they make and their shortcomings. They will have poor communication skills, baby. Yes, they will. They will struggle to effectively express themselves or fail to give you key intel at what key moments, darling dears. Yes. They're consistently negative, darling dears, wallowing in the pit or the crevice of the devil's balls, darling dears. Law number 10 of the 48 laws of power. Avoid, and avoid. Rather than seeking solutions, right? Or opportunities for growth, darling dears. They're the what? Debbie or Donovan Damper. A whole black cloud rides over their head, darling dears. Oh, and they're unreliable. Did I tell you that? They're unreliable. They frequently fail to follow through on any commitments or promises. Why? Because when you listen to them, you become a promiser's fool. I heed your talk. They have a strong, right, resistance to change. Yes, whenever common sense is afoot, they run so fast, darling dears. They run away like Tinky Winky. They don't want the flip-flop, aka the common sense, a flower that doesn't grow in every garden, darling dears. And they are there to what? Hinder your progress because they don't want to see you up. They're the ones that when you have something to tell them about something good going on in your life, their voice is small and quiet. But the minute you talk about fucking ease blood, they're all ears. They're all over it like white on rice. They lack any form of true initiative. They often wait for others to take the lead and make decisions. Yeah, so they can blame you for it, darling dears, if it doesn't go to their what evilest plan. They're the devil's toenail. That's what they are. They have this, I don't know, this inability, this lack, right, of being able to learn from their mistakes. No, they will go further and make more, darling dears, and they want to take you as what? Their emotional tampon to soak up all the fucking ease blood. Yeah. They repeatedly make the same errors over and over and over and over till you are sick of being tired. And then you become sick and tired, darling dear. Sick and tired. They never learn from any past. It's not even a faux pas. It's a total F up, darling dears, of monumental proportions. And did I say they were them selfish? They are selfish. They have ideas of grandiose and prioritize all their needs, desires, and whatever whims they have over yours, darling dears. Your ideals, your dreams mean nothing compared to what they've got planned. Yes. They're inconsistent with their performance, darling dears, making it difficult to rely on them, right, for any consistent contribution or support. That could also happen with somebody who could be a baby mother or father, ex-husband, ex-wife, whatever, parent to your progeny, darling dears. A friendship who always turns up late, darling dears. They don't respect your time. None at all. What does your time mean when they feel that they're the king? They're the king of nothing, darling dears, except a mud hut where you don't reside. And what's the other one? Oh yes, going back again to the constant lateness, darling dears. Their time management is very poor. Very poor. And not only are they always late, darling dears, they leave things to the last minute. Why? Because they don't care about your time, darling dears. Your time means nothing. You are just a tool in their life as they build that tower of wickedness. Yeah, these slow-eyed, dull-eyed ones, darling dears, that wants to be in a tampon string in your life, and you must be a tampon in theirs. Good golly and gosh, soaking up all of that negativity. Listen, let me ring my bell, yeah? May all of the what? Weakest links stay away from me, blood, because I'm prepared. Why? Because I'm a big cat, and we don't take no chat, darling dears. We are spiritual beings, darling dears, but we are not above telling people like it is. Don't get it twisted. Yeah, we do like to lead. We must lead with forgiveness, darling dears. But you don't let those weakest links have an inch or a nanobite of your time or your energies again. Let them stay out of the perimeter. Let them be the weakest link in someone's someone else's hemisphere. Why? Because your rubbish is someone else's what? Diamonds, darling dears. Diamonds. Yes. Let's press on at a hot trot. This is a Chinese numerology. It's a low shoe grid. I wrote the grid on there because I'm so artistic. Yes, I know, darling dears. I know. Thank you. It took me all of 2, maybe 3 minutes. I put my back into it. Hey, okay, good golly and gosh. Look, darling dears, can you see? You're on the energy of a 5 in the center of the grid, but you've also got a 5. So the energy of it's like a master number, darling dears, 55. It's about what you making the big changes, darling dears. You're changing up your routine, right? Your project or your ventures. You are dropping that weakest link, just like what's his name? Quavo. Yes, good golly and gosh. Chris Brown stepped in his neck, his back pulled him by his dreadlocks, darling dears. Came for his whole career, and I think he got it, darling. I think he got it. It was such a surprise from we can't call him Chris Brown anymore. We have to call him Breezy. Yeah. Hey. Yeah, energy of the 5 is also what? Letting it go, darling dears. They brought nothing but conflict and loss in your life. And none of us know the day, the hour, or the minute where we have to go to the Most High. We have to. There's only two things that you can rely on in this world, darling dears. That's the number one is that you're gonna die, blood. We are all going to die, right? The second one is that you're gonna pay taxes. Yeah, whether you like it or not. Well, we are in the age of Aquarius. Anything might change on the second part, but listen, I come with the messages. Don't judge me. Yeah. Okay, let's put the 5 over here before we dive into that and break it down. According to the energy of the Loshu grid, darling dears, the number 5 is represented by your health and your well-being. This is about you wanting more harmony and balance in your life. And you have to remember, when people come with this accursed weakest link energy, blood, you are infected by the weakest link syndrome. It also speaks about what the energy of the 5 is: your health and well-being, your mental health. Is your wealth, darling dears. Why do you want these people that create the havoc? The H is for what? A harlot, or aka a Jezebel spirit, son or daughter of Pennywise the clown. The A is for the advocate of the gingivitis. They always line out their lying hole, darling dears. The V is because they will shape shift into a victim, darling dears. What did I say? Blame shifting and mean. Yeah. Posh clap. The O is because they're bloody obnoxious. Flipping cheek. Listen, I'm getting into British cussing now. Flipping cheek. Yeah. And the C is because they are echopraxic, a copycat, darling dears. They try to copy you. They study your every move, darling dears. Trying to bring you down, but yet they want to be a watered down, right? Fakeazoid. Yes. A pleather. Yeah, that's what you call fake leather. Pleather, right? Clever version of you, darling dears. Yet they still want everything you've got. They are always watching you. Every move you make, every breath you take, they be watching you. Right in the middle, darling dears. Take care of your mental health and run through the list, darling dears. If you're wondering whether you need to drop someone who really is a weakest link, but you're afraid to drop them, go through the list, darling dears. And if you want to back it up, write down what they did. Write down what they did, darling dears. And when you read it back to yourself, make sure that you are sitting in a quiet room. Preferably read it at the new moon in Taurus on the 8th of May, darling dears. Yes. Read it then, darling dears, as you set your intentions for what you want to harvest at the full moon. Good golly and gosh. The full Sagittarius moon on the 23rd of May. Listen, Sagittarius is for expansion, Jupiter expansion, yeah? Expansion and growth, yeah? Higher learning, yeah? Higher mind, yeah? Using your philosophical mind, darling dears. Good God. God is good. All right. The energy of the 5, again, according to the Loshu grid, is telling you to embrace the changes that are coming your way, darling dears. Be flexible and adaptable, darling dears, as only a big cat, ibex can. You know how to bend and not break and not bend over, darling dears, because I didn't say bend over. We don't take it without the Vaseline, not at this stage of the game, darling dears. No, that's a no. No. Right. But it's also, again, be mindful, darling dears, right? Be mindful that you might become overwhelmed as you are getting rid of these weakest links, darling dears. You will have your conscious mind trying to tell you, oh, they're all right. Maybe they'll get over it. Listen, blood, you ain't there. Dartboard, darling dears. Listen, you didn't volunteer to be there. What's that? What would you call it? Lackey? Gopher, punching bag, dumping ground, tampon, emotional blanket. Just to name a few, bestie. Just to name a few. All right. as I was saying, let's drop down and get our eagle on, darling dears, because we have the energy of the 5. First of all, we're going to talk about the energy of the 2. This is an extremely lucky period as you what? And shake out the grass, darling dears. Bat the grass, darling dears. Smoke out the weakest links. These snakes straight from slithering of the in. Listen, they don't even want me to talk. Loud my mouth here before I send my ancestors after you. I will. Where's my big bell? Because they're having a laugh. Let that bad juju stay away. As I lock and bind it with love and light in the name of the Most High. And what do? I send it to the Most High and sending it back. I ain't got the time nor the hairline for spiritual ping pong. Not at this stage of the game. As I was saying, the energy of the 2 is about it being an extremely lucky period for you. If you have some kind of a business deal, something online, a business, or for a promotion, darling, just promoting yourself, this is the time. If you want to get a bank loan, some kind of coverage, darling dears, or even unexpected money in the form of what? Possibly winning the lottery, an inheritance, a tax return, darling dears, unexpected money turning up at key moments for you, darling dears. The energy of the 2 also speaks about travel. If you've got travel plans, they're going to be going very well. You can also expect to be what? Complimented a lot, darling dears. Given gifts. Yes, yes, yes. You may even be invited on a date, but I would hesitate to go on said date. Why? Because of the energy of the 3. The 3 comes with what? Fucking knees. I just told you, the hairline taking stuff, darling dears. People that wants all the smoke until your ancestors bring it right back to their dinner table. This and that, bestie. This and that. The energy speaks about what? Conflict and confusion. Somebody's going to try and do the double speak, darling dears, not giving you the right information. This is the type of person that would know that you're going into a gathering where they've already informed everybody on what low vibing bottom feeder that they say you are, darling dears, but they're really talking about themselves, right? But this is because of something in you, darling dears. They want to shape other people's minds and opinions. And if they can, those people are what? Feeble-minded dummy bats, and they can think what they like, darling dears. But you know the energy you feel when you step into the room knowing everybody's been discussing you, darling dears. People that you don't even know. Yes, yes, yes. Failing to tell the people in the room that they're not really, that they treat you in your face like you're their best friend. But in front of other people, you are the bottom of the pit. You are the scum between their toes, darling dears. They want all the smoke. The energy of the 5. You may be a life path 5, darling dears. Okay, your birthday, or this could be your birthday, or a specific date or number of some importance in your life. The energy of the 5, the 14, or the 23. The number 5 is attached to the letters E, N, and W. The number 5 is ruled by Mercury, darling dears. Mercury rules Gemini as well as Virgo. Mercury in Gemini, darling dears, you are a magician. This is about you being flexible, sociable, as well as what? Being in manifestation mode. And again, the Mercury in the Gemini speaks about the journey. I told you, some of you are about to travel, darling dears, and your plans will go extremely well. Why? There's Skrilla to be had on these travels. Both near and far. Okay. So Mercury in Libra, darling dears. Libra is the house of contractual and relationships, darling dears. Contractual in the sense of friendships, relationships, your peers at work, close associates, family members, whatever, darling dears. It's all about that. Didn't I say you're going to have to look at the weakest link? The dice ain't playing, blood, straight off. And look. This is the first time I've ever seen it. It's where it's gone to 5 here and 5 there. Listen, when the universe wants you to get the message, it doesn't play. Why? Because we said clear signs. We don't understand the wind blowing at us at 4 p.m. No, we need clear signs, and here they are. Bestie, we are in tune. Okay. Yeah. These same ones, right, listen to me, bestie. I have to hypnotize you. Where's my Shizunai? You will develop what? Drapetomania. What's that? The urge to run away very quickly like Tinky Winky from all the weakest links and never go back around them. Not for all the tea in China. Yeah, I do everything, darling dears. I work hard for you guys. Why? Because we're besties and somebody's got to tell you the truth. Roof, pinkies up. All right. Yeah. Remember, Matthew 5:30, and again the number 5. If the right hand offends you, what must you do? Cut it off, blood, and be a lefty. The energy of the 5, let's dive back in. The energy of the 5 tells me that you are a free spirit. You've always had this different kind of a light about you, darling dears, a pioneer into a field that many have not gone into, darling dears. Maybe you're the first in your family to do something in particular. Yeah, whether it's college, own your own business, I don't know, YouTube channel, TikTok, Patreon, whatever. You are different, darling dears. You've always been different. Vive la différence. Posh clap. Your luckiest numbers over the next few days will be the 1, 5, and the 7. Your luckiest days will be Friday and Sunday. Numbers to avoid are 2, 4, and 6. Okay. The number 5 is associated with the astrological aspect of a quincunx, which means that this stressful situation is about to have a quick change. The energy of the 5 is change, right? Quantum leap of what change, darling dears. It's a reminder to embrace this change. Okay. It's also what the pain that you feel from cutting out these Jezebel spirits, darling dears. That this too will pass. This too shall pass, darling dears. It takes time, but in that time, what will you do? You won't lament. You will not cry. Why? Because I've already told you what to do if you're crying over people you've got to get rid of. From they're not in charge of your blinking and breathing, and they are not, because you would be dodo dead. You must go to the mirror, look deep into your eye chakras, and then slap the shiznai out of yourself until blood and spittle flies. And when you're finished, rub them bitches in, best skin tightener, and after that, wash your face like David and come back, and we shall finish this read, okay, of the weakest link. The energy of the 5 also tells you that this is a life lesson, darling dears. This is major, right? You're going to have to create this constructive freedom for yourself, darling dears, because it's going to open up so many different planes, maybe airplane or different planes of consciousness for you to travel on, darling dears. This is very important. Remember, Erykah Badu said what? Pack light, bag lady, posh clap. Come through, Erykah. This is your time, darling dears, to be what? Versatile and what? Adaptable to in some cases walking alone. There's nothing wrong with being alone. Why? You ain't the weakest link to yourself, blood. You're not gonna sell yourself, rat yourself out, right? Put you in bad spaces, not be envious of yourself. Good golly and gosh, perish the thought. Let's carry on, darling dears. We're gonna get some. We'll get some outside cards first. Do we go with the black or the checkered? I'm gonna go with the checkered ones. Intuitive cards. Tell us. Good golly and gosh, that was a whole lotta, right? Yeah, bossing up, darling dears. You are in your masculine energy, whether you are male or female. Or it could be someone that you saw as an emperor in your life, male or female, because you know gender is fluid, right? Yes, baby. This could also represent you in that masculine energy, darling dears. Get into the Skrilla.com. What's that? The money, darling dears. The bag. Yeah, the folding stuff. I told you, this is an extremely fortunate period. Everything that is going to what? Be synchronicities lining up for you, darling dears. It's going to be only God. This is what you're going to say. Only God could I do this for me. This is what you call divine timing. But when it comes through with what? Je ne sais quoi. Love it. Why? Because divine is about to give you what? Infinite possibilities. Right next to that, you've got to drop the disloyal, darling dears. Those weakest links. Why? Because it's all part of your self-care, self-love, and self-worth. The cards ain't playing today. They're coming through with a true for you. Listen, you're getting rid of these intimate relationships that were from outer space, darling dears. They are what? Creatures from the backwoods with yarn for hair, darling dears. Yarn for hair. Okay. Right. Let's get your oracle ancestral message. We're going to use something that I haven't used in a while. We'll go with... Let me find a deck that I haven't used in a while. Everything looks like I've used it in a while. Because I do quite a few readings, darling dears. Forever busy. Yeah. Look at this. You're about to get the milk and honey. The 5 and the 1 goes to a 6. This speaks about what? Harmony, teamwork, cooperation. And that can also come in the form of what? Being supported, darling dears, in your endeavors. Listen. They're looking at you getting the gold at the ending of the rainbow. While they're getting what the duck got, darling dears. And yeah, the one that begins with F, as well as being crossed off your list. Did I not just mention serendipity? Did we not just see, right, infinite possibilities as you get a leg up from the divine, darling dears? This comes through on an 18. 18 goes to 1 and 8 goes to a 9. Okay, 9 is about what? You've attained something because you're going to surrender the weakest links. Listen to me, bestie. Did you know, bestie, sidebar, that you can times anything by the number 9 and it will add back up to 9? Any number you want. Yeah. Yes, it can, because by the time you've times it by the 9, then you add all their numbers together and you bring it down to the least number, it will always come to a 9. You explain that to me, why? Send me an email, boy, because I can't work it out, blood. I was flummoxed. Mouth agape, arms akimbo, darling dear. Surprise. Yeah, you are getting that lift, but you don't even see it, darling dears, because in the eyes of the universe, darling dears, you are but a babe. You are, listen, your life is just a blink of an eye, but remember, we are all reflections of the Most High. And divine wants you to free yourself from this tyranny of wickedness, darling dears. The energy of the 7 speaks about being in genius mode. The energy of the 7 is Neptune as well as Pisces energy. Oh yes. The number 5 is rules the letters E and W, and Mercury rules the letters E, H, and X. Yes, baby. Make them the X marks the spot, darling. There's not for target practice, because we ain't got time to go to prison with the prisoners. But you are definitely getting serendipity and a leg up, darling dears. Be prepared for incoming. And when it comes, shut up. Button it, pack it in, put a lid on it, darling dears. Tell no one nothing. You just carry on. Look. Because you are about to be rejuvenated, regenerated. Energy of a 10, darling dears, is the ending of this what? Karmic cycle with all of these weakest links. Get rid of them, darling dears. You can't have people around you that would not, right, go that extra mile for you. They would want to ride on your back, and if you fall, they'll beat you into the ground, darling dears, and then blame you for missing the mark because you died on the job, blood. Yeah, all of this and that. Disloyal to the core, wanting you to be their emotional tampon. They've got a personality disorder, darling dears, and they've got to go. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes. All right, let's press on. Give us some energy around these weakest links. We want to know what's going on. He wants to know what's going on. I'll look for you, darling dears. You don't need to worry your pretty little brains about be too busy, darling dears, getting great so you can sock it to them, Scotty. Not that you're trying to sock it to them. I just want you to be the best version of yourself, darling dears. The self that they try to wreck, darling dears, and woo in and put on the rocks of life. Take you off your trajectory to the greatness, whatever that greatness means in your paradigm, darling dears. Yeah, so you're in your big boss energy, darling dears. The Emperor energy also represents what? Entrepreneurialism. Someone's business is about to take off in a big way, darling dears. 7 of Wands on its face, darling dears. Lean in, bestie. depleted. These people expect you to always have what? Weak boundaries. Many of them were definitely stumbling blocks. Maybe you even left a job or got the sack. That's what we call it in the UK when they tell you to go home and never come back, not even tomorrow. Take what you got with you on you because you can't come back. Yeah, they instigated you getting the sack, darling dears. If you're going through some kind of issue with work and with the HR, this person has been funneling information to the management, darling dears, because they want to see you down. I just had this flash. You could have even brought this person into your working environment, darling dears, and they took their time to go from everybody to turn them against you. Listen, free yourself, darling dears. They liked it because in the upright, this is you standing your ground, speaking your truth. They liked it when you weren't spiritually aware. In the upright is spiritually aware, knowing yourself, darling dears, claiming dominion, standing your ground and speaking your truth, even when your voice is shaking. Yeah. Okay. Tell us some more. You got the crown chakra and it's come out on the 7, which we knew it would come out on the 7. But anyway, let's press on. It's potatoes and potatoes, darling dears. This is the highest consciousness, darling dears. This is about you being given a new level of wisdom. This is about your intuitive gifts, darling dears, your spirituality, your imagination being buffed up. What did I say? You're about to go to a new level. The energy of the crown chakra is the frequency of 9, 6, and 3, darling dears. Play that often over the next few days. And take time to sit with yourself. Let's get the energies of the 5 so that we don't forget. So we've got the energy of Mercury. Mercury's coming through with the mind, darling dears. Behind that was spirit. It fell out in front of us, darling dears. You are too blessed to be stressed at this moment in time. But spirit is involved, and that is Thoth, isn't it? Yes. He was the emperor of Egypt for thousands of years, darling dears. He represents magic, education. What else, darling dears? Well, lots of things, darling dears. He was the one that put together the emerald tablets, and it's according to that is how we spiritually ascend. Yeah, Mercury, the mind, darling dears. Okay. We're going to go with the energy of the 5th house. The 5th house is about children, maybe even your childhood. Maybe they're talking about your children, darling dears, or maybe this instigator, this snake in your boot, this weakest link, maybe your progeny, darling dears. But it's someone that's lacking in creativity. This is someone that came with a lot of drama and a two-face. You don't know which face to smack, darling dears. Energy of the 5 is Big Cat Leo energy, darling dears. The 5th house. It also speaks about you've applied your talents, darling dears. It may have been a hobby, but something is about to go stratospheric, darling dears. The 5 is also about being in the spotlight, stepping into fame. It also speaks about, because the 5 is juxtaposed to the 11th house, darling dears, the house of groups. These people don't like you, darling dears. They don't like the way you sit. They don't like nothing about you, especially your eyelashes. Why? Because they're attached to you, blood. I keep telling you, bestie. I keep telling you. They don't. But they didn't know that you would regenerate. You are the original bad boy, bad girl, Phoenix rising. Remember I told you that? Fist bump. You just had to use your imagination, darling dears. Use your imagination. Mercury, again, as I said, it's about traveling. You're going to have some kind of movement. Okay. Yeah. As if by magic, darling dears. As if by magic. Remember those words. Because you will say that, and then you will say, only God could have what? Blah, blah, blah. Fill in the blank, darling dears, as far as you're concerned. You are of a higher mind. Your spiritual ranking is off the Chizayin, darling dears. They tried to hold you back, but your ancestral team, darling dears, your divine purpose has kicked in. Okay. This is a new you, darling dears. You're thinking different. You've changed your eating habits. Look at this. Look how it's come out in the upright now. You've got 2 sevens on the tableau, darling dears. You know that you had to what? All answers that you need about these weakest links and who had to go, right? You went within, and all answers come within. And it's also a reminder for you to what? Continue to align with your spiritual purpose. How will you find that? You find that in your North Node, darling dears. Yes, you do. You also find it in your South Node, because it will show you the types of behaviors you put up with that you didn't have to. You will also look at your Chiron, darling dears, because it will show you how you can heal. It will give you the tools on how you heal, or the best healing circumstances for you to be in. Remember, I told you that. Base of the deck, darling dears. This is many people, many energies. You've got a lot of weakest links to get rid of, darling dears. Or did you already get rid of them? Listen, nope. Some of them, it's a ticking time bomb, darling dears. But it's not for you to what? Lose your shiznai. No. We ain't got no time for all of that extra energy, all that pomp and circumstance, the shouting, the fighting, the accusing, because they will turn it around, right? And you know that it's going on. What you're going to be doing, they're going to say you're the abuser, you caused all of this, right? Because you're reacting from their abuse. No, you get gangster, you get silent, you make a plan and you execute it, darling dears, and you don't look back. Many people, darling dears, many of them that wanted, that not wanted, yeah, they are the weakest link in your life. And these people, they're so pathetic, right? It's because of their only inner wounds that they feel isolated. This is why they wanted you to be the patsy, darling dears. And they what? With the energy of the hermit on its face, they will forever continue to make these heinous mistakes, these detrimental mistakes in their life. By being the weakest link on purpose. They know they are. Look. Energy of a 5, darling dears. You wash your face like David, darling dears. They wanted you to be broken, right? When they did what they did, when they said what they said, whatever they perpetrated against you, darling dears, they wanted you to be broken, but they didn't realize you was coming off the pedestal they put you on as what? The patsy, darling dears, the fall guy or girl. You was coming back down to the light, darling dears, to get what? The path you truly deserve, the one that goes into the unknown. You was using what? The light of the Most High, darling dears, your intuition, your discernment to guide you. You had to come off of that wicked pedestal. Who wanted to be stoned by their wickedness on a daily basis? Why would you put up with that? But you didn't leave there laughing, darling. It's like I said, in some cases, it's going to be very difficult to drop this weakest link. But you have to look at how are they adding to your table? Are you always taking the L's? It's time for you to get to the W, blood. Get to the W. Base of the deck, darling dears. Rebuke that temptation, darling dears. This is overcoming the codependence that you possibly put on a situation, thinking that you needed them, when you only need to what? Love thyself, darling dears, and the rest will fall into place. This is also the overcoming of some kind of addictive behavior, whether it's drinking, smoking, I don't know, the pills. I don't know, darling dears. An sex addiction, yeah, addicted to an ex, darling dears, that brought you nothing but conflict and confusion. Yes, that you felt like it was a whole waste of time, that turned out to be a cohesive, disloyal disappointment, a dumbass and a dummy bat. Okay, let's get the tiny cards and look deeper. Excuse me, Marcy, we'll play as I take some more lubrication. I do so hope you didn't hear me swallowing, because I can't bear to hear somebody else swallowing their drink. I feel like just straight into their larynx, darling dears. I don't like it. If you're over the age of 5, don't do that around me. Because, you know, like in that thing, what was that thing called again? Oh my God. Oh my God. The Squid Games, yeah. You know that doll, and the head just turns around, the body stays in one direction. That's how my head will turn around to look at the person and cops in beside me, blood. Yeah. Okay. clarify the crown chakra, this higher knowledge, this new level of discernment, right? Acquiring new skills, being able to what? Achieve the impossible as you're gifted with serendipity and a leg up from the Most High. Listen, badassery at its finest. Entrepreneur, darling dears, protector and provider. Some of you will be calling in your true divinely guided partner once you drop all of this leakage and weak link. Yeah, they are leakage, darling dears. But this is again you in boss mode, whether you are male or female, darling dears. You are their judgment and their karma, and divine is gifting you with a second chance to what? Do over, darling dears. Not with them. Do over and do whatever you want to do. In what? Getting great. Yeah, because you've been through enough, darling dears. You are the what? Wounded warrior. This is about spiritual strength, darling dears. You had to get closer to God in order to see the what? The fugazi, the smoke, the mirrors, and these two-faced what? Hoes. Or should I say garden tools? Yeah, you have to stand your ground. Stand up for yourself, darling dears. They try to eclipse your energy in order to siphon it. Yeah, and there's a lot of gossip mongering still going on, darling dears. They still got what? A blade for your back chakra. They're not sorry, mate. They're not sorry. All because you left the situation, you mentally left the building before you physically left, darling dears. And again, this is a traveling card. Expect to be traveling over the next few days. Something that is what? Well deserves. Queen of Wands speaks about someone who plans, plots, and strategizes. Listens to their intuition, darling dears. The sunflower is telling me about your strength, darling dears. Yes, you're durable. Your vitality, this new energy that's coming towards you. Love it. I don't hate it. The cat speaks about your intuition. You've got the double duality of the two lions, darling dears. Boaz and Jashin for completion and beginning. It's also about balancing your dark and light nature, darling dears. Yeah, you did a lot of shadow work. This is why you started to see who really was putting holes in your boat. The true disloyal. Many people, darling dears. It wasn't just one person. What's this? Yeah, no coming back for you, darling dears. 6 of Cups. Listen, you're too focused on the opportunities that are coming towards you. Wheel of Fortune, which is destined, darling dears. Fate, destiny, and good luck. This is why you must release those weakest links. Put them down and give them to the Most High. What was in my hand? The God giving those that listen to his word, darling dears. Being blessed and gifted with what you truly deserve. Your mental health being your wealth. Financial wealth, stability, darling dears. If it's higher education, this new business, whatever it is, something to do with the north. Maybe you are traveling north, or you've got on your Game of Thrones on as the north remembers. Posh clap. Calling Archangel Uriel at any time, darling dears. Some of you have that special what? Spiritual touch. You do something with your hands, darling dears. This is what's going to bring you your wealth, darling dears. Well respected, looked up to, darling dears. Yeah, they're not changing. They're still living amongst the conflicts and confusion, darling dears. And they've got the Tower moment in the reverse. Good listen. They're not learning from this, darling dears, and they haven't finished with you. In the upright, this situation is a sudden change. They haven't finished with, darling dears. They're coming back. They've got a bag of tricks, darling dears. As only a Jezebel spirit, right? A bottom feeding what? Tree sloth with algae in their fur could have. Okay. The Tower moment, darling dears, is fire, Mars, and Uranus energy. Uranus is the planet of what? It rules the internet, darling dears. You're being watched on the internet. They're watching you what? Begin this new life free as a bird. And again, it speaks about a loyal partner, whether it's a platonic or a friendship coming towards you. The tarot on its forehead. Lean in, bestie. Lean in. They want to create some kind of disaster in your life, but it speaks about the boomerang of the disasters that are in theirs, right? Something to do with their security, darling dears. They fear change. Why? Because they're gonna have to face themselves. And they don't want to face their shadow side. When we see the moon card, this is the fake frenemies, darling dears. The fake ones, the weakest links. They're out there strong. And all you do is win. You're going to be blessed in their face in a major way. Remember, I told you that nothing like divine timing. And when the universe says synchronicities, you say, okay. When the universe say leg up, you said let's go. When the universe says milk and honey, you said namaste, thank you. My soul recognizes the divine universe blessing me. Split the deck. Disappoint them at every turn, darling dears. They're disappointed with their life. They're looking like a dumbass. They feel let down by you, darling dears, by you not taking it without the Vaseline anymore, by you calling time. But some kind of crisis is going on with them at this moment in time. Look, some kind of wounding. Could be a fight, darling dears. Was it a gang fight? Did this, and it's on the energy of the 9 as well. Did they get into a tussling? These people that was what, trying to bring you? Yes, they did. They did, darling dears. And some of them were taken to prison with prisoners, just like R. Kelly. And it's a done dollar, darling dears, because the world card represents online. There's camera footage of this fight, this punch up that went down. Listen. Yeah, their demons was irritating their demons. Look, they would still like to come back and be around you, 7 of Swords. But look, it's fallen on the conflicts and confusion. It's to throw mud in your water, darling dears. You better focus on your mental health. You are in spiritual alignment at this moment in time. You have the 10th cup gifted to you by the Most High, Father, God, Mother, Isis. Cut those weakest links, big cat, and never you ever look back. You are getting spiritual downloads, whether you are daydreaming, sleeping, a thought just pops up into your mind. Follow it to the letter until the wheels fall off, darling dears. You are being guided. You are gifted and you deserve this, darling dears. You worked hard, especially when you get rid of all the weakest links. Just like that song that Chris Brown did about Quavo. Good God, it was an ether or a sheether. Do you remember the one that, what's her name? Remy Ma did about, what's that lady's name? Oh my God, it's flown out of my head. You know the lady with the pink hair. What's her name? Oh my God, I can see her face. Nicki Minaj. Yes. Watch out. 7 minutes of straight up conversation, blood. That was the Shifa. But for the weakest link, good God. That was I don't even think it was 3 minutes, but that's all he needed. He didn't need any more. There was nothing left to be said. Nothing left unturned. As must you leave it like that, darling dears, with nothing left to be said. Let's get a final card and then we're out of here to get great. I'm going to use the Island Time Wellness deck. Final card. As the big cat drops the weakest link in order to get the serendipity, the leg up from the Most High, darling dears. They're always going to be mouth breathing and watching, darling dears. Why? Because they would love to seduce you back into that pit, the crevice of the devil's balls, darling dears, right? With a full sense of security. Palm trees, listen. They want to what? Take some kind of security or stability, darling dears, even if it's what confusing your mind. Yeah, the separation is unnecessary. It must be done, darling dears. It must be done. Why? For you to get a new beginning. Get over the sadness. They miss you. Miss your blood. Listen, I nearly said a big swear word then. They are a narcissist, a sociopath, and they have no certification from an exorcist, a psychiatrist, or a psychologist, darling dears. Leave it at that. You don't need that last meeting to tell them off, darling dears. Why? Because you've already got the key to your heart, darling dears. And he who has your heart, which is your emotions, is your king. You are in charge of you now. It's the you show. Yeah, they'll be forever chasing you, darling dears. Let them chase, but they better not get too close. Why? Because you've got free go-to moves. I've got 2 videos out called Don't Get Smoked. One of them, I think, is about relatives, and the other one's about where I teach you light kung fu and self-defense, darling dears. They won't get too close, mate. On that note, drop the weakest links, yeah? Get right rid of them people and don't take them back. And as I always say, don't get smoked. And don't smoke yourself. From the ashes, baby, namaste. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and share. Big cat wave. Until we meet again on these tarot streets. Cat. Love your hairline. Love this new leg up from the divine. And Don't look back, remember Salt Bay, Lot's wife. Big cat wave.
How you came to be is no longer a mystery. Black sheep is your birthright. It's code for the one who brings the light. I bet if there's a crack, you don't fall back. Remember who you are. No rest for the wicked with their skullduggery. The use spell workers' projection to send out envy, hate, and jealousy. You are the prototype, your ancestors champion. They shield you and send back those spiritual attacks. You are divinely protected from the dummy bats. Yeah. Big cat, the most high, got your back. He sits high and looks low, so don't get smoked or smoke yourself. Big cat moving silence. Only time you speak is